I've had CyberPunk since launch day and played around 40 to 50 hours, giving me a good idea of the game. In this video, I'll explain the good things and the bad things and give you my overall summary at the end and tell you if it's worth it for you. So let's start with the good things. Night City is beautiful, gorgeous. Even on my Xbox Series S, I remember seeing the prologue, driving into the city with Jackie and being amazed at the possibility of next gen games. I still remember leaving V's apartment and seeing all the character models, food vendors and being blown away by this next gen world. Obviously this will depend on what system you're playing on. PC will have the best looking visuals, followed by the Series X and PS5. But the Series S does a good job at showcasing the city and extremely detailed character models. It has some of the best character models I've ever seen in games. All NPCs you see, no matter who they are, will look really detailed. CD Projekt Red put a lot of effort in making the city look, feel lifelike. So you see detailed billboards, TVs that you can hack, NPCs that are having realistic conversation. It feels like a real city, at least on the surface. Everywhere looks detailed, even on the areas of the map that CD didn't put too much effort creating, still have a lot of quality in them. The map is smaller than you think, despite it being closed off in the beginning of the game. For the map UI, you can see all your side quests and important features such as fast travel locations. So let's talk about a story. So you're either male or female, called V, who's a mercenary. There's 3 optional backstories that really don't make too much of a difference in the main game, aside of some optional dialogue choices and certain characters like the cop you first see in the beginning. So you're either a nomad, a street kid, or a company merc. The script and character performances are consistent. I've never seen a bad performance in the world, and the people who live in it are believable. Near the beginning of the game, a character's death generally shocked me, and I can't say the same with most deaths in games. Most people die in games, I don't care. When this CyberPunk made me care. So you progress through the story by getting texts and messages to your mobile phone. A cool thing is, as you're calling as character, you see them in the top left of the screen while you move through the night city. This is a good thing about the immersions that I wish they put more emphasis on. A problem with the phone is V. I know he's a popular guy, but he gets too many messages. You're getting messages after messages after messages. And if you're in an area that has an optional side quest, you'll get a call from Regina, the cop, straight away. It's not really realistic, so it could be anytime, anywhere she's gonna call you. It doesn't feel like a real life thing. So in contrast to The Witcher 3, I always feel like Geralt, no matter what. In Cyberpunk, I always feel like I'm playing a game. It doesn't have the immersion that you need in an open world game like Skyrim, Fallout, etc. The beginning of the game is a huge prologue as the map opens up. Basically, you get fit with a chip and Keanu Reeves is involved and you're trying to save yourself. Keanu Reeves' performance is quite flat, but honestly, he's never really been the best actor, so this doesn't surprise me. Overall, this is the strongest part of the game, and characters that you meet even in optional side quests stand out, and there are a lot of side quests and contents in the game. This game, I think, should have been a story-driven game with big areas you could explore, similar to something like the Outer Worlds of Witcher 3, rather than an open world game that feels flat. So customization. In the beginning of the game, you distribute 7 points into 5 core attributes, and then you'll get 1 point in the attribute every so often when you level up, maybe every 2 levels. You always get 1 skill point when you level up. You customize your character's look as well, but the options are limited in the beginning of the game. And since it's third person, you never see your character anyway. Stupidly, there are no haircuts, and you cannot change your face in the game. So if you make a choice you don't like a specific hair color, or maybe his nose is too big or too small, then you're stuck with it unless CD makes a haircut DLC. The fact that you can't get a haircut when in San Andreas you could even get fat and get ripped, come on, Cyberpunk, pattern up. So these are the attributes. Body, which will increase your health. Intelligence, allows you more RAM to hack. Reflex, increases your gun skills. Cool, which decreases the chance of an enemy finding you when you're sneaking. And technical ability. Each perk will have skill trees dedicated to it. So for example, bodies, you have athletic, annihilation, street baller. Reflexes, handguns, blaze, assault. Technical ability, crafting and engineering. cool, stealth and cold blood, and intelligence, breach protocol, and quick hacking. And the reason why it's important is to progress in each of these individual perk trees, you need to have a corresponding attribute skill level. So let's have a look at stealth here. See, I'm level 6 in stealth, and the way you level up the perks in order to get perk points is you have to do things associated with stealth. So you could get stealth points obviously for stealth killing people, getting through areas undetected, putting bodies in trash bins, stuff like that. So you can see here, I need to have 12 cool in order to unlock this perk. So obviously I have 9 cool, so I need to have 3 more points before I can put the points into cool. So as you can see, most of my perks are in technical ability and cool. So if you have your perks all distributed evenly, you're not going to be able to get anywhere in the skill trees. And the skill trees are cool, they change a lot. Obviously other ones are more useful than others. There's no point in putting skills into street ruler if you're not going to use melee, for example. Please remember to like and subscribe on my small channel, and every little helps progress. So I would recommend saving stat points as you level and distributing it when you find certain prompts throughout the world that reach a certain attribute. So certain attributes like technical ability and body, not all of them, allow you to do specific things like steal cars or open up doors that give you experience. You find these doors while exploring the world. So if you see a door that says you need level 5 technical ability, good thing is, yes, say you have 4 technical ability, save that attribute point. So then whenever you see a door that it requires 5 technical ability, boom, you can just slap it on there and you can open the door. So you can upgrade and craft weapons and armor and ammo using components that you find in the word or via disassembling weapons. The gunplay is decent. It kind of reminds me of Borderlands, and weapons possess unique characteristics like shooting through walls, charging up, bullets homing to your target. So there's, a nice variety in the gunplay. So you can find attachments in the world like, the classic red dot sight, stuff like that. You can purchase through gunsmiths or found throughout the world that can enhance your weapons. So weapons are the following classes: common, which is grey; uncommon, green; rare, blue; epic, yellow. But if you want to craft a blue weapon, you're going to have to disassemble blue weapons so you get the blue crafting components, and also you need the blue crafting components to make the blue weapons. So certain quests called the Psychonauts, which is a person turned crazy by cybernetic enhancements, will always drop rare weapons. So if you want to find a rare weapon, you have to kill a Cybernaut. So cybernetics are enhancements that give permanent stat changes to your character. So you get this via Ripper docs, which are doctors through the map that can, change your body, and you can only do it via these Ripper docs. So these are expensive, very expensive. Like, money is easy to get in the game, but these things are super expensive, and they can give permanent bonuses to stuff like health, hacking ability, double jump to get to high areas, etc. So the driving is okay, nothing special. You can exit your car going 120, 150 and leave without a scratch if you hold down B, or your car has no weight. It can turn corners with no torque. It's one of them things, I couldn't really describe it to you. If you play it and you like the car driving, that's on you. I'm more a fan of realistic driving like in GTA 4, but I know some people like it because you can do crazy stuff. You can drive on the ramp, get out, and boom, your car goes flying. So now, let's speak about the bad things. So the physics have been roasted to death, and for good reason. You can literally destroy traffic lights with your bare hands, throw grenades in the water without any splash, or drive into water and your car just sinks straight down. So GTA 3 from 1998 has better physics. If you kill someone, for example, and walk on their blood, there are no footmarks, unlike in GTA 3. Car windows do not break if you shoot them. The environment does not react realistically to you, which is a big shame in an open world game. The problem is, these problems, such as physics, cannot be fixed easily, and it's going to take years, or at least a very long time, if they do attempt to fix it. So emergent AI, this is a huge problem. The biggest problem is, as you poke holes in the game and you see beyond the beauty of Night City, it's kind of like a facade, it's like a mirage, and it starts to fall apart. You can punch NPCs in the face and the cops don't do anything. Shoot at someone in the car, and every single time that exact same script, they're gonna get out and cower right next to the car. They might get run over if it's in a busy highway, but it doesn't affect them. Every NPC will act exactly the same. Compare this to GTA 5, when the NPC is programmed to respond in different ways if you hit them. They could fight back, they could draw a gun, they could run away, or they could run you over. There's a lot of variety. No one reacts if you hack vending machines, which makes, you know, all random shit just fly at the vending machines. No one reacts to them. Reacts if you hack computers. The NPCs, they're kind of like ghosts. They're husks. They're super hollow despite how realistic they look. Police can spawn out of thin air, and your wanted levels are meaningless. And as they don't have cars, they can't chase you. So unlike, you get 1 star like in GTA, but unlike in GTA where, you know, 3 stars you get a helicopter, 4 or 5 stars you start to get the army. In here, because the police don't have cars, you know what I mean, you could just kill 100 people and walk away or drive away and the police can't do nothing. Bugs. This game is infamous for crashes and game breaking bugs, especially on the Xbox One and PS4 versions. I myself, in my 40-50 hours playing, didn't really find too many bugs, but I mostly found them when you hack terminals to get money in the Arasaka mission. And, you know, after I hacked it, I couldn't get out. But I didn't find it too often. NPCs will slide around and sometimes appear out of nowhere. As I said, I can't talk too much about bugs, but I did have to restart my game a couple times. But I guarantee you've seen on YouTube, even on PS5, you know, the game was crashing. My game never crashed. So Xbox One, PS4 versions. So I'm going to do a video because I bought an Xbox One S to test out my thoughts. But Microsoft and Sony both removing CyberPunk from their stores says it all. It should be a crime what CD did to not allow any review copies to be released despite them knowing how bad it was. Only because of these delays was the game released after next gen. Every version you play, whether PS5 or Xbox, are playing on the base console version, so the Xbox One version and the PS4 version. The next gen patch released sometime this year will come out, but there's no excuse for releasing the game in the state that it is. This is a problem. Unlike with The Witcher 3, whose side quests are as good as the main story, almost interchangeable, I find the side quests to be quite bland in CyberPunk. Usually it's the same thing. You're going to kill some gang members or you're going to escort someone. Identical. Copy and paste. I stopped doing the NCPD missions as there was no variety. Everything was the same. And unlike The Witcher, which has huge enemy variety, all enemy encounters are identical. So it removes the incentive to do the side quests because you're basically just playing the same gameplay loop again and again and again. I don't like the notes about the game lore, so the books, the notes you find, you know, I just read them and it doesn't really interest me too much. It could be a translation issue, as Project Red is a Polish company, but I'm someone who reads everything I pick up in games. And compared to Witcher, Skyrim, Oblivion's books, you know, I don't really think they're worth reading. So in my conclusion, I rate it 7 out of 10-ish, maybe 7.5. In its current state, I would struggle to recommend CyberPunk to anyone who has a base console and consider it an okay option to others. Whilst the game is beautiful, it doesn't have any variety in the gameplay to give it a better score. It will improve over time as CD improves the flaws like the bugs. Maybe they surely can program the AI to react better. But the problem with the AI physics and just blandness of the open world cannot be fixed. You do get a lot of content in the game, you know, 90-ish hours if you do everything. But most of it is just driving and shooting. You know, there's not much variety. There is a little replay value of trying different classes. You know, you could try a melee class, you could try this, you could try that. But considering the different branches you start off with don't really affect the game too much, you're not going to get an entirely different experience like Skyrim or Oblivion, where the whole game is completely different. Witcher 3 is superior to this game in every single way, and the fact that I'm loving playing Witcher 3 despite being a 5 years old game than Cyberpunk says it all. I hope you enjoy my review. Write in the comments any video ideas you want and I'll do my best to cover them.